Hey guys, I'm Justin with CBI Off-Road. Today we're going to show you how to install a Baja front bumper on your Tundra. Stay tuned. Alright, so to get started off, we're going to remove the front grille. So we got a couple clips on the outsides. We got 4 10mm bolts across the middle. And then under this little cover, if your vehicle has a TSS sensor, you'll need to unplug that. This one doesn't, so we don't need to worry about it. And once we get all these out, we can kind of get some room, and there's 2 tabs on the outsides, kind of midway down, that we'll have to depress to allow the grille to come out. We'll get you a close-up shot of that, but for right now, we'll get this stuff right on here on top. All right, so we got the grille off. Our next step is we have these nuts holding this grille support right here that we need to take off. They're just a 10mm, so we'll remove these. Then we'll go underneath the vehicle and we'll start working out the bolts underneath. So get this guy out of the way for now. All right, so now we're on the underside of the vehicle. We're gonna start removing some of these components to allow clearance for our new bumper. These plastics need to come out. They're a 10mm, and there's a couple 12mm bolts on these as well. We'll be taking off the skid plate. There's 4 12mm bolts on that. Also taking off these tow hooks. This will be 2 17mm bolts on each hook. Once we get that kind of cleared out, then we'll start working on the main mounting bolts for the bumper. But we'll start on this side, give you some close-ups, kind of walk to the other side. All right, so now we're gonna get these fog lights out. So we just have this clip here. We'll just pry that straight up and then squeeze the tab on this plug. Comes right out. Repeat for the other side. Okay, and on each side, we need to unplug our parking sensors if your vehicle is equipped with them. Same thing as the fog lights, just squeeze that tab in, pull it straight down. And again, this is 1 clip on each side. What we're gonna do now is remove these 3 14mm nuts. There's also one on the opposite side of this kind of mounting bracket here. We'll loosen that one, but we won't take it all the way off yet. We'll do that from the top side, but we'll take these 3 off and we'll do the exact same thing on the other side, and then we'll do the final bolt over here from the top side. But we have good access here, so we'll go ahead and take these off. All right, so we got the 3 outside nuts removed. We're just gonna finish off the inside 2 bolts. The bumper's just kind of sitting on those right now. This is a pretty heavy bumper, so make sure you have some help getting this off so you don't hurt yourself or kick the bumper up and damage your vehicle. So with that being said, we'll get these last 2 nuts out, pop this baby off. All right, so now it's time to get our bumper prepped for install. So light bars, winches, other lights, all the goodies, now's the time you want to do that. This particular install, we're not doing a light bar or a winch, but those will install right now. We are putting in our fog lights using our brackets here that we supply. So we'll get that installed right now. I'll show you the tools needed for that. All right, so tools we got our dead blow hammer. This is gonna be used for hammering on the clip nuts that are gonna hold on the cover plate. Got a Phillips screwdriver for our fog light hardware, as well as a 7/32 Allen. That'll be for the face plate. 11/32 wrench will be for the fog light setup. We have here a number 4 Allen, and that'll be used for the fog light setup. 1/2-inch wrenches for the fog lights. Hardware, these are the brackets that we're gonna use to adapt our fog lights. It'll set up just like that. We'll have a slot here to go into the bumper. We'll show you that in more detail when we get there. But we have 2 of those brackets, one for each side. We have this hardware here. This is for the fog lights in these brackets. We have our caps here to go in the circles around the grill, so we'll be using those in place of the parking sensors. These larger Allens, these are going to be accompanied with these speed nuts, clip nuts, to go for the cover plate, and the small Phillips hardware we're going to be used to install our trim pieces on the front. So everything's kind of extra in there for this process, but we'll start going on. All right, so we got our bumper on. These main 14mm nuts, those are hand tight just to kind of hold the bumper flush up against the mounting surface. We haven't tightened those yet. We want to do these first. These are the 17mm bolts that came out of the tow hooks. So it's still threaded in there, so we're just going to reuse that same bolt, 2 on each side, run those up in, and then once we get our alignment sitting where we want, we'll come back and tighten down these 14mm nuts here, get our fog lights plugged in, and start working on finishing this out. So keep going. All right, so the bumper's sitting how we want it, so we went ahead and tightened everything down. Now we're gonna install our clip nuts on these 5 locations for our cover plate. Then we'll take our 7/32 Allen and these 5 bolts and run it up in there. We'll use a dead blow hammer so we don't scratch anything. We'll just tap these guys on. All right, so we got everything buttoned up down there. Now we're gonna start installing the grill back on and everything. We're getting a CBI skid plate on this truck, so we're gonna leave the factory one off, but you also have to put that back on if you're not running our skids. So this grill support goes on just like it came off, and same with the grill. Don't forget, if you have a TSS sensor, to make sure to plug that back in, and we'll start wrapping up. All right guys, that sums up our install tutorial of the Baja style bumper on the Toyota Tundra. If you got any questions, leave us a comment below, and as always, like, subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks.